Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is December 1st. Happy first day of meteorological winter to everybody celebrating across Pacific Northwest. Taking a look at the infrared satellite imagery, you can see our storm track just pointed northward up towards southeast Alaska. Got this protective shield here across Pacific Northwest, leading to some stagnant air, some inversions, some foggy conditions out there. And we'll take a look at the weather models to see when this pattern may break, and we'll also take a look at what is going on, of course, in the meantime. Now, this is what I was doing this morning. You can see the sunrise, lenticular cloud show going off, Mount Rainier, some foggy conditions out there, and there was some freezing fog I saw on the rooftops and actually a little bit on the road even. So this may be a recurring theme over the next couple of days, so be careful for some slick spots on the road and a little bit closer view with the lenticular cloud off to the left there, Mount Rainier, and some of the fog in the foreground. Now, looking at visible, this is current. Let me just update that, make sure we have the most recent. You can see the Columbia Basin. Look at the fog just locked in there with the inversion in place. Willamette Valley, nice and foggy also. Kind of hit and miss across some of the Puget Sound. You know, I could see the sun out there, but you can't see that some areas are more foggy than others. And some across southwest BC. You can see the clouds streaming across the area, the high clouds as you go across Washington, Oregon, Montana. In the meantime, no storm reports to speak of right now. Of course, things are fairly quiet across the region. Freezing fog advisories, though, dense fog advisories, air stagnation. Some of this stuff can be dangerous out there, so do pay attention, especially if you're headed out during the early morning hours for the next few days. This is Spokane National Weather Service. So why do we have this air stagnation? Well, of course, we got this ridge of high pressure over us, and we got this cold air trapped at the surface, warmer air aloft, and the cold air wants to sink, the warm air wants to rise, so you're at an impasse right there, and anything that goes on at the surface, like wood fires and cars, are trapped by the inversion, and mountains can increase the strength and of the valley inversions, and you can see some burn band stuff over here as well. So nice graphic here from National Weather Service Spokane. Now, if I put this into motion, you can see the fog firing up each morning as I scroll through 144 hours on the European. So let's go ahead and stop it as we go through Monday morning. You can see the redevelopment of the fog that's going to be with us out here, and that's going to be, again, a recurring theme over the next few days. But as we head off in towards Thursday, so again, Wednesday morning, another foggy morning coming up, and then we head off in towards Thursday, we do get a decaying system trying to move in here. Probably not enough to stir up the inversion east of the mountains. It'll help a little bit west and maybe a little bit of precipitation there. We'll see how that system trends, and then maybe another system as we go towards next weekend. But again, they're not very strong, and we will be watching them here coming up. Maybe we'll see if they start to trend a little bit stronger. It doesn't look great right now, though. And again, precipitation eventually arriving on the day Thursday here, and then maybe another system trying to creep up towards Vancouver Island and western BC as we go through the weekend. We'll continue to watch that day by day. So what's going on here? This is looking at the Pacific Ocean. Got Alaska to the top, Washington is to the right, Japan is to the left, there's the Hawaiian Islands bottom center. Put this into motion. This is at 39,000 feet, and you can see the persistent ridging here across the west coast of North America, and it kind of hangs with us as we go through the first week of December. Strongest part of the jet stream is across the western Pacific here, and this is coming out just enough where it's bringing the ridging here generally across the west coast of North America through, about maybe December 10th, 11th, 12th, before things look like they might start to change. And we'll just continue to watch things for now. But this is probably due to the Madden-Julian oscillation and a little bit of the La Nina flavor we have in the atmosphere. We need that jet to retract a bit further to the west. And you kind of see it does that a little bit versus the beginning of the run where it's a little bit extended out across the Pacific Ocean a bit more here. So that's why we're getting some of this ridging here across the region. So we were waiting for things to change. No doubt it eventually will. But when will that occur? That's the question. So taking a look at mean sea level pressure, in the meantime, you can see why we have this stagnant air. We just don't have much in the way of pressure gradients, and we're not ventilating the area very much here at all. So that's why we're going to be dealing with this inversion here for the next few days. And even when the next system rolls in here on Thursday, you can see it there. You notice it doesn't stir things up much at all east of the mountains. Now, if we take a look at that, this is 10 meter wind speed. And if I put this through the 60 hours and just let it loop for a little bit here, you can see not much wind east of the mountains and not much wind for the Puget Sound or Willamette Valley for that matter as well. You can see some areas get a little bit of some ventilation going on. But yeah, we are in a stagnant period for at least a few days. And this shows you the cold pool that's really built up in eastern Washington. This is just off the surface for the most part, and this goes into Oregon as well. But if I scroll through here, look at this persistent cold pool that just kind of hangs for the 60 hours. I'm scrolling back and forth there, and you can kind of see that Definitely, that is what's setting up the inversion. Now, this is higher off the surface here, so you notice the temperatures are warmer, and that's because Seattle is lower. We're towards sea level here versus a lot of these areas being up over 1,500 feet plus towards 2,000 feet for eastern Washington. Now, looking at Seattle Tacoma International Airport, this is what is known as a sounding. So we are down here at the surface. You can see if you go up towards 200 there, that's about 39,000 feet. 500 millibars is about 18,000 feet. But you see the inversion, the warmer temperatures above with the colder temperatures below. And if I put that into motion, you notice that inversion is going to be with us here. And as we go on in towards Monday morning, look at that. The temperature drops below freezing, and we've got that dew point meeting the temperature, which means we're going to have condensation or fog and potentially freezing fog as well. So that's something we have to watch for the next few mornings across really a lot of the region. So yeah, we're going to have that inversion with us. Spokane, something similar here as well. I'll scroll through there, and you can see as we go over the next few days, potential for freezing fog and that inversion trapping the lower levels of the atmosphere. We don't have much wind going on, not much ventilation there. So yeah, that is our hazard for the next few days. Now, when will this pattern change take place? Well, first of all, this is Pacific North American positive oscillation, high pressure over North America. Storm track is pointing out across maybe the Gulf of Alaska. And this is the reverse Pacific North American negative. So you can see the high pressure out here with the more north or northwesterly flow, bringing some more active weather. And then you see GFS kind of points to us moving towards negative as we go through maybe the 13th or 14th of December, and something similar there on the European. So we do have some model agreement on the pattern change coming some point towards mid-December. What is that going to bring? We really don't know at this point, but you see, at least we switch things up and we give things a chance to get back in here, as we've been pretty quiet recently, and we're going to remain so for the next couple of days. So this is the 12Z hot off the presses GFS. Let me refresh that because it's still running as we speak. We continue through Tuesday morning. Here we go through Wednesday morning, another cold, foggy morning. And then we get the GFS a little bit stronger with that system as we go through the day Thursday. And you can see it might be dropping some snow even down to some of the lower elevations for eastern Washington, bring some precipitation, some mountain snows here. Not an exceptionally strong system, but then we've got more activity as we go through next week. And then the ridge wants to redevelop here as we get a colder air mass moving down across the Intermountain West. And then we do this again with the ridging here for a bit, but then the GFS wants to turn things a bit colder here. You can see this interesting system there would be a bit chillier as we go through December 13th, and you get some high pressure set up to the north, but you take that with a grain of salt. It is the GFS, and you're looking at 250 hours out. It is just purely fantasy at this point. And if you look at the European ensemble, not the European ensemble, this is the artificial intelligence. This is 15-day precipitation anomaly, and you can clearly see the signal well below average here. And if I scroll down, you can kind of see the scale at the bottom, or peg the scale in some of these areas. And if we take a look at the European, this is a regular deterministic run versus the ensembles. This is the average of all 50. A pretty strong signal for below average here over the next 10 days or so. And then the European versus the Canadian ensemble mean here. Models are in virtual agreement here with the dry period that is coming up. Here's the 6 to 10 day above average, a lot of the West. And they still have this. I don't know why they're even showing this for this above average. This is kind of ridiculous if you ask me. But yeah, because we're usually getting a pretty decent amount of precipitation at this time of year. And to say we're going to be above average is, probably not very... probably not really showing what's going on here as we go on into the mid portion of December. And then you can kind of see this mixed bag here as we go towards December 14th. But again, take that with a grain of salt. So anyway, we'll just continue to watch this, break it down, and watch out for that freezing fog in the morning, slick conditions and whatnot. And, if you don't have to, if it's your only source of heat, I guess that's what the burn bans say, that you're okay to burn and things like that. But if you don't have to, we probably shouldn't be doing any kind of fires and whatnot. If you have other methods of heating here, it helps to trap some of those pollutants at the surface. So anyway, we'll do this all again tomorrow. We'll break it all down. We'll take a look at what the weather models have to say as we go through tomorrow morning and see when this pattern change may occur. But otherwise, I hope you guys are having a good day, and I will talk to you guys then.